Let's say you're stuck at 20% body fat, and now you're convinced you're doing everything right, and yet the scale is barely moving. But what you don't know is your body has closed your deficit on 3 separate occasions without you even touching a thing. And here's exactly how and what reopens it. So at 20% body fat, of course, you still look fine in clothes. But it's just sitting down or catching yourself side on in a photo or maybe a mirror where you notice the lower belly just hasn't really moved. And early in the cart, most of what you lost was loose fat sitting under the skin, the kind that just responds to almost any deficit you throw at it. And it's probably mostly gone from your face, your arms, maybe your chest, your back. But then at 20%, what's left is deeper. It's usually around the abs and maybe the hips, and obviously some left around your organs too. Then your margin for error has shrunk to almost nothing. And the deficit you thought you had has started closing on you. And it has nothing to do with your effort or your discipline, but instead your TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. I remember stalling for weeks after I first lost 35 pounds. And at the time, it just made no sense to me because I was doing exactly what I was doing since day one. But you know the saying, what gets you there won't get you there. For some reason, I didn't understand that a lighter body meant fewer calories just existing. Let's say you start at 200 pounds and you're in a 500 calorie deficit. You're losing a pound a week. But by the time you're down 25 pounds, which is incredible, your true daily burn has dropped by around, let's say, 350 calories, some people even more. And some of that's just from carrying less mass. But some of that is your body adapting to being fed less. And no, that's not metabolic damage. It's just a smaller engine burning less fuel. But nobody recalculates their deficit against the body they actually have now. So the food stays the same, but the deficit has shrunk. Well, even disappeared. We'll get into that. A 500 calorie deficit built at 200 pounds can be running at, if you're lucky, 100 calories by the time you're at 175. And that's before NEAT even gets involved. So I recalculated my maintenance and my new weight, roughly 15 pounds times my body weight in pounds. I can't remember exactly what it was then. Then I cut another 500 off it. And the scale, of course, started moving again within a week. But why does this get worse the leaner you get? Because your body is just burning less, sitting still, you're fidgeting less. It's moving less. And you're not realizing it, and I don't expect you to realize it. This is called NEAT, like true NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And it's things you, like I said, you shouldn't track and you wouldn't think to track. Like how much you're actually on your feet during a normal day rather than just at the desk or on the sofa. And under a sustained deficit, it does drift down. And for most guys that are dieting hard, which I don't think you are, that can cost around 300 calories a day. And of course, you're still training just as hard. But you don't realize maybe your steps have dropped off. Your daily movement isn't what it used to be. So the deficit doesn't stay open. Now, stack a 350 calorie drop in your TDEE. I almost mess that up every time. On top of a 300 calorie drop in NEAT. And that 500 calorie deficit is well underwater before we talk about food. And that is partly, well, mostly why you're stalled. And then steps. This is why people are obsessed with steps. That's one thing you can actually control that can reinstate your movement without taxing your recovery in any way. And this is why it works so well when structured cardio just doesn't. There's no magic to steps. So I put hard floor on my steps, my daily steps, 8,000 a day. Just made it non-negotiable. And then 15 pounds came off within 6 weeks. Well, another 15 pounds. And at this point, knee collapsing was the actual block. And of course, it had nothing to do with me being lazy or lacking discipline. And the third leak is tracking, of course. And it's the one that catches out, I would say, every man at some point. Let's say you're running a big deficit at 30% body fat. You can eyeball your portions and still lose weight because there's enough room for the deficit to absorb the error. But then that room disappears by 20%. And most men underestimate by, I would say, at least 15%. And on like 2,500 calories, like let's say you're trying to run maintenance, well, predict your maintenance, that's 375 calories a day, just never making it into your MyFitnessPal or whatever app you're using. And even if you think you're eating the exact same foods, well, even if you are, it could be something like maybe a tablespoon of peanut butter that you think's 20 grams when it's actually 40 grams. And at a 700 calorie deficit, an error like that obviously still leaves you losing weight. But when your deficit has shrunk to 150 calories, that deficit's gone by deficit. You're back at maintenance. And of course, I'll say this again. You don't need to track forever. Just 95% accuracy until you hit 15%. I would argue that everything you eat needs to go in, even if you estimate it. And then you learn how to stay at 15%. And you still track then, but that's a story for another video. And one, like, I would say really effective strategy I have is just to log my calories before I eat them. Not after, definitely not at the end of the day. And then round up every estimate you make, like on meals you eat out or you don't know fully, just round them up. And on my last cut, I logged every meal before I touched it, just so dinner didn't catch me out. So what do most guys do when the scale stops moving? Of course, they add more cardio and they drop their calories even further and just try to grind it out. And it does make sense because it worked before. But below 20%, it's the wrong lever, and I'll tell you why. When you're already running low and you pile on more cardio, you don't necessarily even burn lower belly fat first or even fat first. You burn whatever fuel your body finds easiest to grab in that specific moment. And if you're under-recovered, underfed, it's often muscle rather than fat. And I know this firsthand because I chased a plateau with extra cardio once upon a time and came out the other side, of course, lighter, but significantly weaker. I lost muscle and lost fat, but it looked like I actually lost more muscle, if that makes sense. If you lose 10 pounds of lean mass that way, anyway, even, it's around 75 calories less a day you're burning, but that's not much. But stack that on top of TDE and NEAT that we're already dropping. Now that's just an unnecessary and expensive way to learn this lesson. And you'll be way more frustrated, trust me. So what you actually want to do is watch your waist and your lifts, not just the scale. Because 20%, at 20%, your weight can swing several pounds overnight from water, glycogen. And trust me, that number will drive you insane if it hasn't already. And when I lost 80 pounds, my lifts kept climbing right the way through to 15, even 12%. And that was a sign that my plan was working. The cut was working. I want you to take waist measurements every 2 weeks, photos every 2 weeks. Those don't lie. And they tell you way more than a scale ever will. So reopening your deficit isn't hard once you know how, but the real work lies with being honest with yourself about where it actually leaked and actually staying consistent with your plan 7 days in a row for months. And the guys who get there aren't the ones who try the hardest or work the hardest. They're the ones who stop fixating on the wrong problem. And if you want to see exactly how I keep nutrition on autopilot so this doesn't creep back in, that's this next video. I'll see you there.